I'm sure, one of many milestones that you will have. I always like graduations because of the word commencement. One of my favorite songs is Pomp and Circumstance, but I love to hear that because what it does is saying that you're ending one thing, but you're beginning another. And so, as he said earlier, I'm an author, so I always look at things in stories. And so you're ending one chapter and you're beginning another chapter. And to all of the rest of you, are you juniors, sophomores? What's your class?
I'm a senior.
I'm a senior. Senior? Oh, okay. Everybody seniors?
I'm
Junior? Okay. Okay, cool. So y'all will be returning next year to the club? Okay. So to y'all, just congratulations and making and sticking with it and returning. What I want to say is you made it not through another semester, but this is another level for you to take your purpose, your passion, and your power to the next level. And that's all about legacy. That's the foundation of legacy. So your legacy is basically the story that is told when you're not present. So it's the impact that you've had. It's how you've treated people. It's the accomplishments all wrapped up in one that you're not telling, but it's your body of work that's telling about you when you're not in the room or when you're no longer here. And so there's a saying that you can't judge a book by its cover. What that is saying is you shouldn't look at the outside of the cover. You should look at what's inside the book before you make a judgment about it. And Martin Luther King talked about not to judge someone from their skin color, but the content of their character. So what builds character? Two things that come to mind that builds character is overcoming barriers and beating the odds. So a question for you. The stats say that only 11% of low-income people graduate college in 6 years. How many people have already beat those odds? Raise your hand. All right. It also says that 75% of people in state prisons are high school dropouts. How many of you all have beat those odds? How many of you, is there anybody that has not dropped out of school, high school? That's everybody, right? And so I bring that up because barriers are real. And when we talk about barriers, when you look at poverty, poverty equals limited access. And limited access equals lack of exposure. And what that is a pipeline to prison. What a lot of people don't realize is that your zip code, in the society that we live in, your zip code determines your destiny. So basically it's a bet that you won't encounter very many pathways to college or to stable employment based off of your zip code, based off of that cover that's on you. And so what I want to say is that also too many of our youth and young people are trapped from the classroom to the courtroom. And statistics say that prison is more likely to happen than college is for young black youth. So every one of you here today has already beat those odds. What you've done is you flipped the script. You've made it, and you're exceptional. You're not the exception, but you're exceptional. Students involved in agriculture education are more likely to graduate high school and pursue post-secondary education. Programs like NextGEN teach you not only the agriculture, but it's growing you as leaders. It's developing you into entrepreneurs, into scientists, and also to change agents. Every seed that you plant in the soil is your step closer to planting your legacy in your life and developing your community. Because all the things that you've gone through with this program, you grew responsibility, you grew leadership, and you grew a vision for your future. Studies show that youth that are involved in ag and in STEAM programs are more than likely to graduate, to lead, and also to give back. In short, you are not just beating the odds, but you guys are changing the game. And with this club, I want you to look at it more than just an activity, but it's a movement. It's a chance for you to rewrite the narrative and not let those statistics tell your story. So a little bit about me. I like going by Dr. PJ because it's just easier for me. I'm an author, leadership and business development consultant. I grew up in, anybody heard of Nebraska? I grew up in a small little area where there's not many people that look like me there. I grew up with a single mom, and we had not that much money, but there was an abundance of support. I had a lot of teachers that believed in me. I had family that saw excellence in me. I had a bunch of friends that was always there to cheer me on, but most importantly, I had dreams that told me I could be greater than the environment that I saw. And because of that, I went to college and graduated college when my family wasn't able to. And also with that, I've been able to walk in rooms that weren't receptive of people who looked like me. I've also been able to travel to places that I just saw on TV, and I was like, I want to go there. And so because of that, I've been able to go into a lot of different workplaces. Even when I got to the workplace, there were barriers that I had to overcome. I had to overcome age and racial and gender discrimination. I had to overcome pay inequalities, lack of network and resources, and just flat out, there's just some mean, evil, hating people in the workplace, and I had to overcome them. But what I did was I used their energy to beat my odds and create my own odds. So with me having my doctorate, now I'm part of only 2% of Black women in the United States that have a doctorate degree. So it means that anytime that I walk into a room as Dr. PJ, I'm not just walking in there telling my journey and representing myself. I'm representing women who didn't have the opportunity to go to the highest level of education. I'm representing women who are not seen. Also, as an author, did you know there's only 3% of Black women in the United States that are published authors? So when I walk into the room as an author, every time that I publish my 2 books, that means not only was I telling my story or telling the stories of the people who are in my book, but I was literally writing literary history and representing people who didn't have a chance to tell their story. From generations of women who could not have a voice in any room that they went in. So did I have it easy? No. It's all about hard work. Life is just not easy, but it's that you got to keep going and you got to keep pushing through. But I had vision and I had support. And just hearing all the information, just that little bit that I heard about this program, you guys have a vision and you definitely have the support. I'm not an exception, but I'm an example of what possibilities that happen when access meets ambition, as well as an opportunity meets preparation. So think about people. One of my favorite actresses is Viola Davis. Y'all know who she is? Yes. So think about her. She came from poverty, and when you really look at her, what does society, if she walked in the room, just think about all the things that she had to go through just by how she looks. And now she's an EGOT. Very, very few people have an EGOT, which means they have an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony Award winner. Then you have Dr. Victor Glover, who came from modest beginnings, and he's now a NASA astronaut. And then we all, of course, know Tyler Perry, who was homeless at one point. And look how much stuff he owns and operates. What I'm saying is that there are other people who have had to overcome barriers. And so any barriers that you all will face in the future, trust and know that you can overcome those barriers. The USDA projects that nearly 60,000 jobs annually will be open in agriculture and related industries, with only 61% being filled by qualified applicants. What that means is that through this program and your participation in this program and in your majors, you guys are already poised for success. So you are the game changers. To the power of community coalition that has to come together for this to happen, sustainable change takes place when everybody is involved, whether it's schools, mentors, businesses, and families. And you all, through your role with this program, have helped students and will help students to gain real-world job skills, as well as teamwork, leadership, and time management and problem-solving skills. Next Generation represents a village model of transformation. We've all heard that it takes a village, right? But it takes more than the village. It takes people actually believing in the vision that the village is worth investing in. So for our graduates, our 3 graduates, right, from this program, I encourage you that as you go into your next chapter, to remember to give back, whether that is speaking, that is mentoring, that is leading, that is referring people to the program. Don't forget the support that you've had, and remember that you have an obligation to the next generation. Also, to the returning students, now's your time to step up, take on those leadership roles, and use this as your chance, as your legacy building moment. Story that's going to be told when you're not in the room. Think about what you can do beyond what you can see. What type of projects, community projects, can you implement? Where are there needs and gaps where you can fill those gaps? What type of research can you engage in? And also, how can you prepare yourself for other college opportunities and also your career? Ask yourself 2 questions. How will I make the path clearer for someone coming after me? And then 2, how can I take the power of my passion and operate in my purpose? What I want you to understand is that though you're thinking about your purpose and you're operating in your passion and using that to learn more and to do things and to enter your next chapter, it's not about you. It's about the generations that come after you. So you've got to set that tone. You've got to make those pathways for them, just like others have made those for you. What I want you to understand is that you are your story. You are the main character in your story. So with each experience that you go through, you are developing your character. You are developing those chapters in the book that people are going to want to read. And you are developing your legacy as a story that's going to be told when you're no longer present. So to the graduates, you leave this club not just with memories, but with momentum. And to everyone else, I want you to understand that you are not a statistic, but you are the solution. So build boldly, lead loudly, and never forget that you already have proof that you are the seeds of greatness. May you continue towards eminence, and because you are brilliant, you are overcomers, and all of you